7th grade. We're filming here before a live studio audience. It's Saturday in school, producing math videos to help you while I'm in Ohio. So today we are doing a thing called evaluating expressions. So our situation today is we're going to replace our variables, which I'm assuming you remember are the letters, with some numbers that you'll be given by me right now or by the book in the homework. And then you just do the arithmetic that presents itself. So some of these formulas represent something in the real world, some of them don't, doesn't really matter. This is just me making up stuff. I just made up a formula that A is always equal to B plus C. And then I tell you, oh, by the way, the B is representing 3 at this moment, the C is representing 5 at this moment. So your job is essentially to take the B that's 3 and take that B and replace it with a 3. Take this C that I'm telling you is a 5 for now, replace this C with a 5. You do the math you're looking at, 3 plus 5 is 8. That's our deal. So we'll do a few more of those to make sure you get the hang of it. This is an actual thing called the distance formula. Distance equals rate times time. You'll see that again in your algebra career. But it doesn't matter if you know what the formula represents. But all of these do represent something. If I were here in person, I'd ask you to try to guess what the formulas were, and we can interact, and we might get some of them right, but we can't do that right now, so I'll just tell you. But for this one, if I tell you that the R represents 7 and the T represents 9, so if you replace the R with a 7 and a T with a 9, your only other obstacle here is you have to remember what it means when the variables are next to each other. And hopefully somebody remembers that that means they're multiplying. So if you multiply those numbers, that one turns out to be 63, and on we go. This is the formula for figuring out areas of squares. A for area, S for side. If you take the side squared, meaning the side times itself, that always gives you the area. Doesn't matter if you remember that, it's fine if you don't. But for this, if we take the side that I'm telling you is 8 and just stick that in for the variable, 8 squared, if you do the math, 8 squared means 8 times 8. That will turn out 64. This happens to be the area of a triangle formula. You take the base times the height, and then we cut that in half. That gives you the area. Again, it doesn't matter if you remember what these represent. But if I tell you that the B means 6, and I tell you that the H means 8, then you just have to do the math. These are all multiplying because they're all next to each other, and multiplying you can do whatever order you want to do. So somebody might do 6 times 8 is 48, cut it in half, that's 24. Somebody else might do half of 6 is 3. 3 times 8 is still 24. Somebody else might do half of 8 is 4. Times 6 still 24. Order doesn't matter though. Parentheses, hopefully you remember, mean to do that part first. So the first thing we have to do for this problem is add up the L and the W that represent lengths and widths. This length plus this width that we're given, 6 plus 7 is 13. Get the 13 resolved first. Then when the 2 is next to that, that's a multiply when things are next to it. So 2 times 13, that one's going to be a 26. That happened to be the perimeter of a rectangle. This last one's a volume formula, length times width times height. So if I tell you there's a 2, a 5, and a 7 to put into these slots, and they're all next to each other, they're all multiplying, multiply whatever order you want. 2 times 5 is 10, that times 7 gets you 70, we're good with that. If you multiply it in another order, it's still going to be 70, it doesn't matter. So that's the lesson of the day. Where you work from here is to page 311. So on page 311 there's some letters, A, B, C, D, E. There is a 1 to 25, and that's a wrap.